Right, today, um, let's work our way to crow. We haven't done that for a few weeks, and flying pigeon, or at least we'll work on hips to get um, closer to those poses. Flying pigeon, as you know, is pigeon pose. Like crow, in fact, that it's an arm balance, challenging, a lot of core strength needed, a lot of hip openers. So we'll work on hip openers. And since there's a lot of core work needed, we're going to work on our core for a little bit. So come onto your back. And let's just rest the hands on one on the belly, one on the heart. Or close to the heart, arms down so the arms are nicely relaxed. Feet are on the ground, knees bent, so the knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. And we'll just focus on the breath for a little bit first. Close the eyes, just totally relax. So probably, if you're just doing regular breathing, you're not sort of emphasizing the breath, you can just feel the belly rise and fall a little bit. Not much activity in the chest. Fairly quiet sound to the breath. Now as we start to take deeper breaths, the belly rises a little bit more first. And then we pull the air into the chest, expanding the lungs, the ribs. So you can feel that whole upper front body starting to expand as you breathe in and contract as you breathe out. We're breathing in and out through the nose, inhaling, belly rises, chest expands. Exhale, chest contracts, the belly sinks. Long, slow, deep breaths. As I say, the arms should be on the ground, or the elbows on the ground, so the arms can relax. And you can hear the sound of the breath. Each inhale, trying to pull in a little bit more air, a little bit more oxygen. Each exhale, trying to squeeze out all that used air. Bring the right leg up to the ceiling. Take hold of the back of the leg. Let's just work on the feet a little bit. So we're pointing the toes and then we're flexing the foot. And that's all we're doing. Just warming the feet up a little bit. Getting that mobility in the ankle. Stretching out the back of the ankle, the Achilles tendon. If you're one of these people that wear high heels, then this is really good to do. What happens is in the high heel, the foot is this, pointing like this, and this back of the heel tends to shorten, so this is really good to do. And then just rotate the foot in one direction. And in the other direction. And we point and flex a few more times. And then we switch legs, holding onto the back of the other leg. Point and flex the foot. So pointing the foot towards the ceiling, that's called plantar flexion. You know this, I've mentioned this before. And then if you pull the toes in, that's a dorsiflexion. And then we circle one direction. And then the other direction. and we point and flex the foot a little bit more. Okay, let's start off. A little bit of hip opening. So bring the outside of the right foot onto the left leg. Let's start off by just keeping that left foot on the ground, and we're just going to push the leg away. So I've got my hand on the inside of the thigh, fairly close to the knee, but if you're not feeling much of a stretch, just lower. Bring the hand closer to the thigh, closer to the hip. Flexing that foot that's close to you, and we're going to get a nice stretch on the inside of the leg here. And we switch. Other side, flexing the foot, pushing the leg away from you, right foot on the ground. And then we switch again. But this time we're going to pull the legs in, thread the needle. Again, we're flexing that foot close to you. You're trying to keep the tailbone down. You're pushing the forearm into the leg, getting that hip opening. And we just rock a little bit, just warming up the back, loosening the lower back muscles. And we switch to the other side. Pulling the legs in, tailbone down, and a bit of rocking. Okay, bit of core work, guys. So let's keep the feet on the ground. We'll start off, hands can be on the belly or the ground, and we're just pulling those knees in. This is a routine we do quite often. We're keeping the lower back nice and low. And if you have the hands on the belly, you can feel those muscles engaging as the legs get closer to the ground. Nice, easy exercise. If you have any back concerns, this is the one to do. If your core is weak, this is the one to start off with until your core is stronger, and then you can do some of the other exercises, which we're going to do next. If you'd rather just carry on doing this one, that's fine, but for the next level, we straighten one leg, one knee bend, and we just switch. This time the core's engaged all the time. You're going to feel those muscles working all the time. Not moving too fast. You're keeping the legs pretty low. You're keeping the back pretty low to the ground. You're breathing. So although we're holding, engaging that core, we're not holding the breath. Okay, if you want more, we add the arms. So we're synchronizing the movement of the arms and the legs. Maybe touching the ground over the head, you don't have to. And you're breathing, no breath holding here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now for those that have a really strong core and the back is really good, and this, be careful with this one. This puts, if you don't hold that core, if you're not pushing the back into the ground, this can put a little bit of pressure on the back, so be careful with this one. We bring the legs up and we slowly lower the legs, and as you lower them, you're engaging that core a little bit more. I'm almost to the ground, and then I bring those legs back up. Now don't forget, when the legs are straight, it's more of that leverage action. That's why you have to be careful with this one. So just moving up and down slowly, really squeezing into the ground as you get those legs nice and low. And then bring the legs back up. Keep them up to the ceiling, arms at 45 degrees or so, and we do windshield wipers. Legs over to one side, halfway down, back up, over to the other side, halfway down. So we're just moving from side to side. You're trying to keep 90 degrees between the legs and the torso. So as the legs go over to the side, try not to let them move further away from you. Arms are really helpful so that you go down nice and slow, and to help you bring the legs back up. Far enough so it's a challenge, but not too far down so it's not too difficult. So we're getting a little bit of twist here, working the obliques, getting a little bit more mobility in the spine on this one. And then legs back to center, bend the knees, feet down, take a full body stretch. Sometimes I will add side crunches. Sometimes I will add pistons. Maybe next week we'll do some pistons. Walk the feet in. Lean over to one side. And slowly come up. So by leaning over to your side and coming up, a lot less stress on the back than just sitting up. So it makes it, you know, just get into the habit of coming up that way. Even when you're coming out of bed, over to your side and then come out of bed. Inhale, sweep those arms up, look up. Exhale, bringing the hands down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the fingers interlaced. Extend the arms forward, shoulders back. Sit tall. Nice stretch to the arms here, the hands. Bring the arms up, framing the face, or eventually framing the face. Bring the hands down. Interlace the fingers the other way, but behind you. Pull the shoulders down, shoulder blades together. Look up as you hinge forward. Go as far as you can, and then you tuck the chin and bring the arms up. We come back up. We bring up the right arm. Retract the shoulder back so that the right arm is parallel to the ground. Extend it forward. Other arm is used to pull that extended arm in. You want to pull above the elbow. You get tall. Inhale. Easy stretch. Exhale. We pull the arm in a little bit closer. We do this one a lot. This is a nice stretch. It stretches out the upper arm across the back, the deltoid. Try and relax the neck. And breathe. It's almost like you're trying to breathe into that area that's stretching. And we switch. Bring the other arm up, shoulder back, pull that arm in. Nice gentle stretch to begin with. Inhale, tall. Exhale, we pull that arm in a little bit closer. And then the side stretch, placing one hand over to the side. Other arm comes up. We reach up as much as we possibly can. And then we start bringing that arm towards the ground, over the head. You're looking up. And you're trying to keep the hips even to the ground. So I'm pushing that lower hand into the mat. And the stretch I feel down the side ribs, side hip. Inhale, we come up, bringing the other arm up. Exhale, over to the other side. Inhale, back up. Shoulders, start bringing the hands onto the knees, bring one shoulder forward, up, back and down. Other side. Up and down, whatever feels good. And then become totally still. On the next inhale, bring the shoulders up to the ears. Exhale, release. Inhale, shoulders up. Exhale, just let go. One more, inhale. Exhale, let go. Right ear to the right shoulder. This feels so good to me. I always stretch my neck out nearly every day. Just letting the weight of the head stretch the neck out. And then we're going to keep that side stretch, but we're bringing the head a little bit more forward. And then we're taking the head backward. And then we bring the head back to neutral and we go over to the other side. We're just letting gravity do the work for us. We keep the side stretch. We bring the head a little forward. We take the head back. We bring the head up to neutral. We look over the right shoulder. We inhale to center. We look over the left shoulder. Back to center. We bring the chin to the chest. This time we could use the hands behind the head, encouraging the chin in a little closer. We bring the head back up and carefully take it back, opening the throat. And then back to neutral. Come onto your hands and knees. Inhale, belly down, head up. Exhale, rounding the back, tucking the chin. Cat-cow. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. We tuck the toes, we come into downward facing dog. You're looking between the legs, you're pushing the hands into the ground, armpits towards the ground. Bring the toes a little bit closer to each other and start walking the dog. Bend one knee as you straighten the opposite leg. Just feel those calf muscles stretching out. We hold one leg straight, one knee bent. And all the time you're getting more length. You're getting the head a little bit closer to the ground. You're pushing the hands, especially the thumb index finger, into the mat. Armpits down. You're breathing. We switch legs. Other leg bent, other knee straight, other leg straight. We come into plank. We engage the core. Try not to sink between the shoulder blades. Hips are not too low, hips are not too high. We bring the knees down. We try and turn the hands out, bending the elbows. We bring the whole body forward and down. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale, back into downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg up, extended down dog. Exhale, right knee to right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee to chin. Inhale, extend. We switch legs, inhaling as the other leg comes up. Exhale, knee to left elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, right elbow. Inhale, extend. Exhale, knee towards the chin. Inhale, extend. Top foot joins the bottom foot. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhaling halfway up. Exhale as you fold forward. Bend the knees. Inhale, we come all the way up. Exhale into mountain. Another side stretch. Inhale, sweep those arms up. My fingers are interlaced. Probably can't see, but my fingers are interlaced. I'm pointing the index finger towards the ceiling. I'm reaching towards the ceiling and then leaning over to one side, getting another side stretch. Looking up towards the ceiling slightly. Breathe, and if it feels good, you can go a little deeper into that stretch. Inhale, we come up, reaching up before you go over to the other side. Inhale, back up. Let's add a little bit of a back bend. Now this time I'm going to try and keep the arms framing the face. I'm engaging the glutes and I'm carefully leaning backward. And if the back is okay, can you go a little further and a little further? Inhale, we come up, we hinge at the hips, and then we bring the hands all the way down to the ground. We bring the fingers onto the ground, and I'm going to separate the feet maybe 3 or 4 inches and hold onto the big toes. So my first 2 fingers, thumb around the big toe. I'm bending the knees, I'm resting the belly on the legs, head is totally relaxed. Keep contact between the legs and the belly, and then see if you can straighten the legs just a little. Don't have to be totally straight, just getting a bit more of a hamstring stretch. Head is totally relaxed, you can nod no and yes. Make sure there's no tension in the neck. And then we bend the knees more and we come all the way up. Inhaling as you sweep the arms up. Exhale, bring the arms down, coming into mountain. Come to the front of the mat. Inhale as we come into chair. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. We walk into plank. Knees down, chin chest forward and down. Inhaling into cobra. Exhale, down dog. We hold down dog for about 5 breaths. It's not static. All the time, little adjustments. Pushing those hands in, armpits down, looking between the legs, bringing the hips slightly forward, trying to keep the back neutral. Bend the knees if you need to keep the back neutral. If you can keep the back neutral with the legs straight, that's great. If you can get the heels down, that's good. But back neutral is number 1. We look forward, walk forward between the hands. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward, knees bent. We're back in chair. And then we come all the way up. Inhale into chair. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands. Some people like to jump back into plank. Knees down, chin chest forward and down. Inhaling into cobra. Hips down, elbows bent. Exhale, downward facing dog. We hold down dog 5 breaths. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Jump if you want. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding forward, knees bent, chair, and then we come all the way up. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale, folding forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we're back in plank. This time, chaturanga if you want. Upward facing dog after chaturanga, looking up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, the right leg up. Exhale, we sweep that foot through into warrior 1. Warrior 1. If you draw a straight line from that front heel, it's going to intersect that back heel. That's what I like. Palms together, we're looking up. We're taking a little bit of a back bend. We flow to the other side. We come back into plank. Chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg up. Exhale, we sweep that foot through. Warrior one, other side. Bit of a back bend if you want. Where do I feel this? I feel this stretch on the inside of the hip of that back leg. That's where I feel it most. Back into plank. Chaturanga. Trying to turn the hands out, bending the elbows, keeping the elbows in, drop to 90. Inhaling into upward facing dog, looking up. Keep that core engaged. You go back into down dog. Take a breath or two. Or 3. We look forward, we walk forward between the hands. Inhale halfway up, exhale folding forward, knees bent, we're back in chair, and then we come all the way up. Okay, let's add warrior 2 onto that. Inhale chair, exhale folding forward. Inhale halfway up, exhale we plant the hands. Now if you want to jump back, you've got to really engage that core. And I go straight into chaturanga, up dog, and then down dog. Then we inhale the right leg up, and we exhale it through. We come into warrior 1. We hold warrior 1 for a breath or 2. And on an exhale, we go into warrior 2. Again, heel to heel alignment. And I start going a little deeper, and you want to make sure that front knee's centered with the foot. Shoulders are soft, lines of energy through the arms. This back leg is active. We'll do a reverse warrior, and then we flow to the other side. Plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Inhale the other leg up, and we sweep that foot through, readjusting the back foot. Warrior 1. And then we exhale into warrior 2. Trying to keep those arms parallel to the ground. You're sinking a little bit, you're working those legs, you're relaxing the shoulders. Reverse warrior, and then we come back into plank, chaturanga, inhaling into up dog, exhale down dog. If you have any like shoulder concerns, chaturanga is not the pose to do. Instead do knees, chin, chest to ground, cobra, rather than chaturanga or up dog. Take care of yourselves. And then we look forward. Now to jump forward, you're trying to bring the weight forward. I'm not a very good jumper forward. I don't go very light, but I do what I can. And as I land, I'm trying to bring my feet toward, closer to the hands. And I'll usually go on an exhale. And then halfway up, folding forward, knees bent, and we're back in chair, and then we come all the way up. The jumps throughs, they do a lot of that in Ashtanga yoga. They like to do that, and they, the Ashtangis, once they get into that practice a lot, they can be very light when they jump back and forth. I do that sometimes, just to you get the speed up. It's a little bit more aerobic. So what we'll do next, we'll do a few more warriors and then Trikonasana, but we're not as much flow this time. Let's come into chair, and then we fold forward. We come halfway up, we plant the hands, and we come into plank, chaturanga on each, chin, chest to ground, cobra or up dog, downward facing dog. We'll bring the right leg up, inhaling, and on the exhale we sweep that foot forward. So what we're going to do this time, rather than flowing from side to side, we'll do the warrior poses, warrior 1 each side, then warrior 2 each side, and we'll just go from there. So we're starting in Warrior 1. And then we hold Warrior, the arms up, and we'll swivel the feet, Warrior 1 in the other direction. And we're holding each pose for 3-4 breaths or so. We exhale into Warrior 2. I'm going to go a little bit wider with the feet on this one. So this is going to work those legs. It's a hip opener as well. And you've got to work. So if you just relax that foot, that leg, the knee's going to come inward, so don't let that happen. So we'll keep that leg working. And we swivel 180 degrees, Warrior 2 in the other direction. Trikonasana, we straighten the front leg. You reach forward, you bring the hand down, other arm comes up. Try not to drop the head. Nice stretch, nice side rib stretch. We've done a lot of those today. And then we swivel again. And we do Trikonasana on the other side. We're straightening the legs. You reach as much as you possibly can. You bring that hand down and the other arm comes up. And you're looking up. So you're trying to keep the top ribs the same length as the bottom ribs. Sometimes you want to bring that top hip down. If you find this is curving at the top, one thing you can do is just bring that top hip a little bit further to the ground, or you can bring that hand a little bit higher, whatever feels good. I'd rather the form be better than you struggle to go into a deeper pose. Then we're going to take that top arm, come into the revolved Trikonasana, bringing the hand inside or outside the foot, and you might want to hop that back foot in a bit closer. I like the hand outside the foot, and you can use a block if you want, and then we're just opening up into revolved Trikonasana. We come out, we swivel, and revolve Trikonasana on the other side. We come back up, and then extended side angle. Lots of stretchy stuff this time. And if you want, you can drop that lower hand inside or outside the leg, it's up to you. I'm bringing it inside the leg. But I'm trying to get a straight line all the way from that top hand to that back foot. I'm pushing that lower arm into the leg and the leg back into the arm. I feel it in the hip. We come back up, we swivel, and then we do extended side angle on the other side. So if you want, you can just hang out with the forearm on the leg. Try and get a straight line, top hand, all the way through the shoulder to that back foot. If you want to go a little deeper, slowly lower the hand. And if you can only go part way, you would need a block. If you can go all the way, you can bring the fingertips all the way to the ground. You're breathing, you're pushing into that front leg. And then we're going to come back up and we're going to face the long side of the mat. We're going to walk the legs out wider, and this is going to stretch out the inside of the legs. So make sure the feet are parallel to each other and just bend one knee as you straighten the opposite leg. And we're just going to go back and forth. And then we're going to just hold one leg straight, one knee bent. And you're going to feel the stretch down the inside of the leg on this one. We come up and over to the other side. A more classical yoga pose, which I can't remember the name, but this is a challenge for a lot of people. We bring the hands so they're shoulder width apart, and the fingers are lined up with the toes. My feet are pretty wide still, and I'm pushing into the mat. So I'm trying to get more and more of a dog tilt. You know what a dog tilt is? You bring the hips forward, and you slowly come down, and you tuck the chin, and you're bringing the top of the head closer to the ground. Make sure the back is happy. Don't go too deep if it starts to bother the back. And then we walk the feet in, heel toe, heel toe. That's a challenging one. Shake everything out, move those shoulders. Okay, one more little flow, we'll do some standing stuff. Inhale, sweep those arms up. Exhale as you fold forward and down. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, we plant the hands, we're back in plank. Chaturanga. Inhaling into up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Actually, let's take a little breather. I'm working you guys pretty hard today. Come into child's pose for 3 or 4 breaths. Totally relax. Come up. Have the toes together, knees apart. We're not going to go into crow just yet. I want to do a couple of standing poses first. So we're bringing the hands between the legs, fingers are pointing towards the feet, stretching the wrists out. If you want more stretch, the sit bones lower to the heels. If it's too much stretch, you lift the sit bones up. If the sit bones are down, you don't feel anything, try bringing the hands a little bit closer to the feet. If you don't feel still don't feel anything, you've got really limber wrists, but I feel this one. It's a good stretch for me, and it's something I do usually before any hand balance poses. We then bring the back of the hands together and we just circle. So I'm trying to keep the wrists as close together as I possibly can as I circle the hands. And then just shake the hands out. Come into a standing position. So tree, this is actually a good hip opener. So we're going to balance on the left foot and we bring the right foot inside the standing leg. And the foot is below or above the knee, don't forget. You bring the palms together, relax the shoulders, engage the muscles in that standing leg. And whenever you're ready, the arms come up. So we're getting an opening of the hip, we're strengthening the standing leg, and you're having to concentrate just to keep that balance. After a while, you're going to feel that calf muscle working, you're going to feel the ankle working, and that foot is working all the time to keep you balanced. We bring the hands down, we bring the legs down, we shake everything out. So if you're practicing this at home, set your timer for 2 minutes. See if you can hold tree each side for 2 minutes. If you can do that, the next time 3 minutes, and if you can do that the next time 4 minutes aside. The leg is you're going to feel that in the leg. I think 4 minutes is plenty. Other side. We're opening the hips, we're working that standing leg, you're relaxing the shoulders but you're opening the collarbone, we're bringing the arms up, you're breathing. If you do have a challenge with the balance, you know, be near some furniture, you can lean against something, be close to the wall, whatever. As we get a little older, a little bit more mature, should I say, balance becomes a little bit more challenging. Not everything works quite so well for us, right? But we do what we can. And we release, we shake everything out. And if you keep practicing, moving, as you get older, keep moving. Okay. Let's do crow next and then pigeon. So crow. Most of you know crow. If you don't want to do crow, if you don't want to do a hand balance, you can do this, just hang out in the squat, or you can do whatever. So this is like a little bit of free time. To get into crow, we do this quite often. My feet are wide apart. Let's do it this way. So I'll do it both ways. I'll do it facing you, and then I'll do it in the other direction. So my feet are pretty wide apart, my toes are pointing out. I'm pushing my arms into my legs. So there's good contact there. I then place the hands on the ground. So my hands are pretty wide apart. And then I come onto my toes. I'm bringing the knees higher up the arms, and I'm leaning. The knees are pushed into the arms. I'm leaning onto the arms. I'm looking up all the time. Look up, throat extended. Don't tuck the chin. And then one foot comes up and the other foot comes up. We bring the toes together and we try and squeeze those arms. We try and straighten the arms a little bit more. We're breathing. And we come back down. It's tough. A lot of core work on this one. From this view, and if you find you're kicking up, you're never going to get up there. My back is rounded. Normally I tell people not to round the back, but we're rounding the back in this pose. I'm pushing into the legs. That just helps me to position the hands. I come onto my toes. I'm lifting the knees up higher. I'm looking forward. Now this is where people start to kick up, like this, and they're going to get stuck there, so don't kick up. What you've got to do, you've got to lean forward, looking forward all the time, head raised, and then one foot at that balance point, one foot comes up, the other foot comes up, you try and squeeze the arms, you breathe, and then we come down. It's a challenging pose. Some people like to do the headstand after crow. While they're in crow, they go into the headstand. Be careful if you try that. Always keep nice alignment at the neck so you're not crunching the neck. Some people like to jump back into chaturanga after crow. Another time. Standing pigeon. If you can do crow, if you've got open hips, you can probably do, this, not the standing pigeon, the flying pigeon. We go into flying pigeon from standing pigeon. So we're standing again, we're bending the left knee, we're bringing the right foot onto that leg, and we're just resting the hands on that top leg. You're going to find that hip opening. So the more you bend the knee, the lower the hands. I should have had a block here. If you've got a block, have a block there. The block is there just to keep the balance so that you can go a little bit lower. Touching the ground might be too much of a challenge for you. That's why we have the block, or should have the block. This is basically standing pigeon. Other side. We did this pose earlier on our backs. Recline pigeon. It's the same pose basically, but this one we're standing on one foot. And it's a nice hip opener. Now to fly, we're bringing the hands down and we're bringing that bottom foot off the ground. Let's try it. I'll try it facing you first. So if you want to try flying, we're bringing the hands down, and so I'm on my left foot, my right foot is on top. I'm going to bring my left arm inside that top foot, and I'm trying to get the foot as high up the arm as I possibly can. And then I bring the other arm into the leg as well, just below the knee. I'm pushing into that leg. I'm trying to grab the upper arm with my toes. And then I bring the weight down, and just like crow, you're leaning forward. I'm wiggling the toes back, and I bring that back foot off the ground. And breathe. And then we come out, not holding it too long. It's a challenge. I haven't done this for a while. Not since yesterday. Okay, before yesterday I hadn't done this for a while. Okay, we're on the other side. We bring the hands down, and if you don't want to do this, you can just do recline pigeon, you can do bridge, whatever feels good. I'm just throwing these in. Some people like something a little bit crazy. I'm grabbing the arm with my foot, I'm wiggling that toes back, I'm leaning forward, and I'm raising that foot. And I'm coming out. Didn't hold it too long. From the side view, which way did I do it then? Okay, I'm bringing the left foot on top. I'm pushing one arm into the leg, the other arm onto the inside of the foot. I'm grabbing the arm with the foot, I'm leaning forward, and then I'm bringing that leg up. And if you've got good grip of that arm with the foot, you can extend that top leg back, flying pigeon, and we're coming out. I don't want to hold it too long. Other side. Hands down, arm into the inside of the foot, arm into the leg, other arm into the leg, just below the knee. I'm really getting low as I can. The top foot is like a shelf for the ribs. So I've got contact between the ribs and that top leg. I then wiggle that back foot. I'm looking forward. I'm bringing that leg up. I'm squeezing that arm. I'm breathing. And then I'm coming out. I'm not holding it too long. Sometimes I hold it a bit longer, but it's a tough pose. It's an advanced pose. As I say, I think one of the first times I did that was in a yoga workshop several years ago, and it was mainly a lot of yoga teachers there, and probably only 2 or 3 of us could do that to the pose, and I was one of the lucky ones. So if you can't do the pose, don't be hard on yourself. Yoga is all about, going to your own level, doing your own thing. It shouldn't be competitive at all. But sometimes we can't really avoid that. Okay, come onto your back. Let's take a little bit of a breather. Actually, I'm going to grab a block, because I think we're just going to do easy stuff now. So I'm just going to take a block, and we'll get ourselves into a restorative bridge. Most of you should have blocks now. So we're just going to start lifting the hips. And I'm taking the block, it's going to be half height, and I'm just sliding it underneath my sacrum. Don't forget, you want to keep the gaze to the ceiling. Do not gaze from side to side. Keep lengthening the chin. I'm trying to walk the arms, shoulders a little bit closer, palms up, and I'm totally relaxing. If you don't have a block, you can just hang out in Shavasana. If you're on the block, if you want, you could flip the block so that it's at its fullest height. And if it's a firm block, you can bring the legs up. So we're doing a mini inversion. It should still be relaxing, the gaze is still towards the ceiling. We bring the feet down. We lift the hips up and we put the block to one side. Pull the knees in, rock from side to side. And we're going to take a little bit of a twist here. So I'm going to extend the left leg, pull the right knee in close. I'm shifting my hips slightly over to the right as I bring that right leg to the left and extend the opposite arm, looking over that right shoulder. So my right arm is extended, palm up, shoulder down. Try and keep the shoulder grounded. Breathe. We unwind, we pull the knees in and we rock again. And then we extend the right leg, keep the left knee pulled in, shift the hips slightly over to the left as you take the left knee to the right side and you're extending the left arm to the left side, palm up, shoulder down, and you breathe. We unwind, knees in, and we rock again. And then we take a full body stretch. Bringing the arms over the head, trying to get as much length as you can. We take a little bit of a side stretch, getting into a banana shape, stretching out one side of the body. Then we stretch out the other side. And then we recenter and we come into Shavasana. Arms either side of you, palms up, and you relax, letting yourself just sink into the ground. Maybe moisten the lips. Just let your whole body get heavy. Feel yourself sinking into the ground. Just stretch the hands out. And then relax the hands, clench. Stretch out again. And relax. Clench. Stretch out one more time. Relax. And clench. Totally relax the hands. Walk the feet in. Roll over to your side, taking a couple of breaths here. Keeping the eyes closed, come into a seated position. And then inhale as you sweep the arms up. Exhale as you bring them down. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keep the palms together. Namaste.